Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans, and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist, and internationally published author, helping take your life, your business, your health and fitness, and best of all, your mindset from where you are to being unstoppable. And today I'm super excited because I have a fantastic guest with me today, all the way from Canada. Hi, Fong. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I am fantastic. Thank you. Now, I want to give Fong a bit of an introduction here. So he's a serial entrepreneur. He's a real estate investor, a speaker, and best-selling author and he's got his own show called the Peak Potential Success Show. And I don't know, maybe we should let people in on the little secret that we were just talking about. We both had very, very late nights and early mornings, and Fong was up. You were up at 3. I was up from 10 till 2 last night listening into our coach. And I was just saying to Fong that maybe I didn't get the timing right for this in advance, but we're going to waken everything up and bring some great content here today. So thanks so much for joining us today, Fong.
Hey, no problem. Happy to be here.
Hoping that you could share a little bit about you and what you do and what you're passionate about.
So going back a little bit, I was born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta, taught to work very hard, go to school, get good grades, that great story, find a good job and be loyal to that company and work there for the rest of my life kind of thing. Hence, I became an engineer. I was told that business is not my thing. I was told that I should not take accounting. So I got into engineering, and people also said, hey, why not do architecture? And then I realized, well, where I'm from, the architecture classes weren't very good. So I got into engineering because somebody told me it was the closest thing. And then once I got into engineering, they go, your worst enemy is the architecture. So I'm like, oh, that's nice to know. So anyway, I graduated from university, became an engineer. And then 3 years into engineering, being in Edmonton, Alberta, where our biggest industry is oil and gas. And that's the sector I got into. Well, oil and gas in 2008 and plus the real estate bubble kind of popped. So everything kind of went downhill. And that's when I realized I may not be an engineer for the rest of my life kind of thing. Yep. And that's when I picked up my very first Rich Dad Poor Dad book and hired a coach and a business coach and started my real estate stuff. Built my portfolio from 0 properties to about 23 properties or so. And then from there, started writing some books. Also started doing some speaking and coaching. And then fast forward to recently started a podcast, did videos online, and helping people write books. Because I find that writing books is one of those things that builds your credibility very fast. Yeah. And I've been able to get a lot of my clients to write a book, have it published, have it in hand within 3 months. And that's something that I've been very proud of. And lots of people didn't believe me, so I proved it many times. And for myself, I wrote recently 2 books. Both books are about 200 pages in 20 days. So those are published very fast too. So that's what I like doing. I like helping my clients unlock the potentials by expanding their credibility and exposure, and also adding different streams of income if that's what they choose to do. And either through book writing, through real estate, through business strategists, through mindset, whatever it is that they need. And that's what I love doing. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, fantastic. Tell me the journey from changing career from, not engineering to real estate. How far or how long ago was that for you?
Depending on the timeline, sometimes if there's an engineering project that they ask me to go back and work on, I still go back and do it here and there. But my biggest thing is still doing coaching and helping people succeed.
Yeah, right. Okay. So when did you start doing that?
A couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. So pretty new.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been coaching people like as I was still full time. I was still doing real estate investing, writing books, and also coaching people at the same time. So I was kind of doing that whole thing full time at work and then also full time out of work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, part of my journey is I'm a chartered accountant, and now my business is all around coaching people and around health and fitness and so forth. But while I was studying to become a chartered accountant, I realized that I didn't want to be a chartered accountant. because I didn't like the people that were around me. So I thought this isn't great, the partners and managers and stuff. So yeah, I decided to
You
get
start
out.
to you start to find that the people that you're surrounding with aren't as energetic. They're
Yeah,
not as opportunistic, and they're just head down, do calculations, and just follow suit kind of thing, right? So that's the biggest difference I find is when I'm outside of the engineering realm, the world's completely different.
yeah,
Of course, depending on who you surround yourself with, the people I like hanging out with are very supportive. They're usually very positive because they see opportunity versus all that negativity that's usually around the masses. So it's
yeah,
always good.
yeah. So I wanted today to have a big focus around success and what it takes to create a winning mindset. And you've obviously done very, very well for yourself in what it is that you do, and now teaching others how to do it as well. So I wanted to start by asking you, first of all, we all, we talk about success. I want to be successful. I want to be, this, and the other. What does success mean to you?
I think that success for me is achieving the projects, the goals, and also the relationships that I want. So whether it's family relations, whether it's business relations, business success, business goals, it's one project after another. You succeed in one, and you go on to the next big thing. You succeed in another one, you go on to the next big thing. Success is one of the things that you reach, and you reach again and again and again. It's always a ongoing process for me, I find.
Yeah, okay. Pardon me. Gotcha. So this probably answers the next question, which is like, do you think you're at that level that you define as success at the moment? But I get
Um,
you
I,
get one and then you move on.
I would say that there's always more that you can achieve, and there's always more you can succeed in. And it's one of those things where every time you feel that you're not succeeding, every time that you feel that you're not accomplished, then you kind of stop and then look back at what you have accomplished and use that to boost yourself back up again. So for myself, no, because there's always more that you can do, and there's always more people that you could impact, and there's always more relationships that you could build, and there's always a better solution or a better relationship that you could build within the family as well. But sometimes you go, I built something very good already, and then you kind of look back and go, wow, I am successful in that aspect, let's
Yeah.
build more.
Yes. Yeah. So tell me, why do you or what do you think it is that stops people from being successful in whatever area it is that they want to be successful in? What stops them? Because most people aren't.
I think usually the biggest thing is the fear. However, I think the fear is also there because of the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And therefore, it's who do you associate yourself the most? And then therefore, you're going to have that kind of mindset of what those people have as well. A very good example of this was, my wife and I, we started doing some marathon running a few years ago, mainly because we're big fans of Disney and we wanted to do the Dopey Challenge. So we did the marathon in Disney World because we're big fans of Disney.
Yeah.
Not really because of the running, but more so because you get to do it in the parks. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things that we're surrounded with people who never did marathons, and nobody ever did long distance running. So nobody told us that it could be done. Nobody told us that it's something that's achievable. However, we started looking for people. Hey, you've done it. What was your process? Oh, you've done it. How did you feel? And then they start giving us that encouragement. So we actually accomplished that goal. And then a year after that, one of my cousins goes, wow, I always wanted to run a half marathon, or I've always wanted to go running. But she was surrounded by family members like, what? You'll die. Or you can't do it. Until finally, like, come on, I'll do one with you. You could trust me, you will not die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after that, she got this itch, and she's been doing half marathons almost like 2-3 times a year, and she's loved it. So it's one of those things where you need to surround yourself with the people who can support you with the goals and the dreams that you want to achieve. And when you have those people, and also the people who's done it already,
Yeah.
or are achieving the same thing,
Yeah.
then that fear that lots of people are talking about kind of goes away.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. Just the various aspects of my life where I've seen that I've made that shift. And when it's a bit like what you said about success, it's only when you stop here and then you turn around and you look back and say, yeah, I used to associate with these people, like I said before about my previous profession, a lot of negativity and stuff. And it's only now I say, well, I don't have those people in my life anymore. It's just like I surround myself with, the right people, supportive people, those people that are also better than me, so that I'm always stretching myself to get better. So what do you think for those people that are listening to this and thinking, wait, yeah, that sounds great. I get that. But how does somebody go from, we're adults, we're kind of like trying to make new friends that are better than us and stuff. What would you suggest for people to, let's say they're in business, or they, maybe it's a marathon or something else, but they know that they need to surround themselves with a better quality type of people. How do they go about making those first few steps to do that? Because you can't just go and say, hey, you, be my friend.
I think that really starts off by reaching out and really just meeting new people. When we started our process, we signed up for a lot of networking events, lots of webinars, lots of weekend boot camps and all that kind of stuff, and start building our own kind of environment, starting to build our own support group to say. And some of those people that we've met 10 years ago when we started this process are some of our closest friends now. So it's a long process. It's like kindergarten again. You have to go and, hi, my name is Fong. Would you like to be my friend? Kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's I always like telling my clients this. When you have a question, for instance, how do I go make friends? How do I go find a new group? Well, imagine if it was your child who asked you that question. What would you say to them? You'll probably tell them, well, you have to go and ask them if they want to come out and play. Yeah. So if that's the case, it's exactly the same thing for adults. It's just that when we get older, we start feeling that embarrassment. We start feeling that sense of insecurity. Yeah. But in the end, one of the biggest lessons I had was my niece was so scared to ask one of the uncles to play, and she went up to her mom, was like, but I'm scared. And then the mom just went, just go and ask. He won't bite. And then she asked, and then, would you play with me? And then the uncle goes, yes. And she had a blast. I'm like, that's what we should do. We should just go reach out to people and go, hey, let's have a chat. Hey, let's do a Zoom call or something like that. And the worst case scenario, you end up with what you had before, which is nothing.
Yeah, that's a great way of saying it. I mean, you and I connecting because I did exactly that to you. Now, how did that happen? How did I even know of you? Well, because we both went to Los Angeles. We went to a huge networking event over a number of days, and made the connection that way. And even like last night when we were on that call, and you're looking at all the different people, so, oh, I know that person, this person, this person, this person, and it's all because you put yourself out in that space, and you're in a room of 2,500 people, and you walk up to somebody and say, hi, my name's Rob. What's your name? And you just start a conversation and build it from there. But I think I don't know whether I met you in person or not, but it would have been 2 years ago. That was when I first went to LA. So 2 years later, we're having a conversation. So
was it at Omega?
Yeah, the one in LA. Yeah.
Was that last year? 2019?
I went to 2019, but 2018 was my first time. I met JT in 2018.
Yeah. So I was at 2019.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So great advice. Now I want to tap into the mindset here a little bit, and like my show is called the Mental Toughness and Body Show. So I want to maybe ask you to reflect on some events that have happened in your life that you consider have made you, mentally tough, giving you that really good mindset. Because often I think we feel like things happen in our life and it's like, oh no, that's really bad. But I know I can point to probably 3 or 4 different events that are very painful in my life that have made me tougher. And COVID's a good example of that. So I'm just wondering if you've got an example or two that you'd like to share with us.
Well, it's more of a learning situation for myself. I used to perform and sing on stage
Oh, wow.
Sometimes, if asked, I sometimes still do for certain events and whatnot. But I used to go and compete and do singing contests and all that kind of stuff. And one of the biggest fears anybody who's competing or performing or anything like that on stage is that if you forget your lyrics,
Yeah.
right? That's the biggest fear and the biggest embarrassment that you could ever think of, aside from maybe falling on stage. But
Yeah.
anyways, so I remember one time I was about the way I would rehearse and practice is I would recite the lyrics over and over and over in my mind. And then 5 minutes before I was supposed to perform my piece, the last time I recited it, I missed a beat and I forgot that one word. And now I was panicking.
Yeah.
So now that I was panicking, I was, don't forget, don't forget. And then sure enough, once we got to that spot, I forgot it. I was completely blank and it just felt awful. So from that moment on, I told myself, okay, it's true what they say. If you keep on thinking something that's going to happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
But it works both ways. So from that moment on, every time I went up to sing, every time I went up to perform, every time I go and put an offer on the house or go to a negotiation, I always think of it's going to succeed. It's going to go well. It's going to go as a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah.
And it usually turns out much better than I thought.
Yeah.
Another scenario was, for instance, with regards to mindset, things in your mind usually become a lot worse than what the reality would be.
Yeah.
Now, this also has to do with having the right coaching and having people to support you. But I remember my very first eviction case with a tenant, and I was scared out of my mind. What am I going to do at court? What do I say? What do all this stuff? And I was sweating bullets. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't get rest. I was so stressed out. And my coach constantly goes, "Don't worry about it. This is what you need to do," and all kind of stuff. In the end, well, the tenant didn't show up to the court case, so it was an automatic win, and everything turned out a lot more easier and a lot more smoother than I pictured it.
Yes.
So the second thing I learned was basically we create a lot more scenarios that we worry about that probably wouldn't even happen.
Yes.
So from that moment on, I kept on thinking, okay, with regards to mindset, yes, you could prepare, and yes, you could try and avoid certain things and have backup plans, but don't worry too much about the what if scenarios until they show up.
Yes.
Because you prepared for it. Okay, now focus on the what can happen. That's good. And
Yeah.
then the third thing about mindset that I've learned was, I'll bring it back to the marathon thing, is as long as you break things down, it's not as tough as you think it is.
Yeah.
I say, hey, run a marathon, and people go, wow, that's impossible. But I didn't say how much time you have to run the
Yeah.
marathon,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? If I go 3 hours, of course you can go, wow, that's too short. But what if I go, you have 8-9 hours to finish that?
Yeah.
Then you start thinking, maybe I could finish a marathon. It's a brisk walk kind of thing, right? And when it came to doing it in Disney World, guess what? You have 28,000 people doing it with you. So now not only are you doing a brisk walk, but you're doing it with lots of friends and
Got a whole
people
support
dressed up.
team. Yeah.
Exactly. There's like bands along the way and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you can say, I finished the marathon.
Yeah.
Rarely do people go, hey, how long did it take you to
Yeah,
finish
that's
it?
right. They're
Right?
like, oh, wow, you did a marathon.
Exactly. So then I take that and apply it to book writing. I go, when I tell my clients, I want you to finish writing a book. And instantly they think, wow, that's going to take hours, months, years to finish a book. I'm like, if you trust me, if you follow my system, 3 months. You could finish it in 3 months. Because the thing is, if you could speak for an hour and a half
Yeah.
or 10 minutes on 10 topics, then you already have 10 chapters written.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. So once I explain that to them, I break it all down and go, wow, I can finish this. And more than likely, they have their books in hand in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
So those are, I think, the three kind of scenarios that I find for mindset help me a lot with a lot of stuff that I actually approach now.
Yeah, fantastic. So many great points there. You've opened up a can of worms into everything that you just said there. Now, I can't move on any further without asking you, what type of music did you sing?
I'm I sing Chinese pop, so nothing that you
Chinese
would know.
pop. Okay. So do we get a bit of a rendition of something?
I'm sorry, no, you don't. It's been a while, so I'm not in a. On top of that, I'm lacking a little bit of sleep, so it's not at the
Yeah.
scenario where I could actually perform.
That's why I'm having this. Um, well, here's a bit of bizarre information that you probably didn't need to know about me. But I used to play a musical instrument that's incredibly rare,
Mhm.
the bagpipes.
Oh, nice. I've
And
heard a lot of bagpipes in my day.
yeah, well, Canada's got some really good bands. So my goal was to compete in the World Championships in 1990 in Glasgow, Scotland. And one of the things that I was doing, talking about manifesting things. So I was like, don't make any mistakes during the World Championships on the biggest stage of your life. Let's just concentrate and do that. Now, I'll give you a tip for anyone that's going to do something massive on, like the next day, the night before you do that, don't watch Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 2, and 3. Do not do that because I could not sleep, and that was the only thing on TV. And by the next morning, all I could see was Freddy Krueger. And guess what? I got to the World Championships and I made some mistakes.
Yeah.
So, but you live and learn. Hey, I wanted to ask you, like with COVID, obviously that's really stretched our mindsets and everything this year. Um, what have you learned about yourself with COVID, going through COVID?
I've learned that I need to be more flexible. I've learned that to take on new challenges so that you're not just relying on what you knew beforehand, because things change, right? Before COVID, my wife was one of those people that told me, hey, you need to start coaching online. You need to do Skype calls. You need to do Zoom calls. And I go, no, that's not gonna work because I
Yeah,
need to be there in front of them, and I need to feel that energy and all that. So I can't do that with Zoom. Well, no choice now. So
yeah,
once I got into Zoom, I love it. I mean, I
yeah.
would probably wouldn't be talking to you because you're all the way in Australia.
That's right.
I've made lots of friends in Australia, in South Africa, in Bangladesh, and been able to be on their podcast shows, which I may or may not have been even thinking about if
Yeah,
it wasn't for COVID, and accepting different technology, accepting different ways of doing things. So that's something I've learned throughout this period of time, and then also challenging myself doing new things, like podcasting. I never thought I was going to be doing that. So
yeah, yeah. Great points. I'm the same. Like, so grateful for the technology. I think if this had have happened, say, 12 years ago when I started this business full time, we didn't have the technology with the phones. We didn't have, I think Skype probably existed, but where I lived, we didn't have the internet strong enough to be able to do a Skype call. So, yeah, very grateful for that. And yeah, it's opened up so many different opportunities for me that I never would have previously considered. It's like me coming to you and say, even like living where you do, or even if you lived around the corner, I said, now look, Fong, I know you live around the corner, but look, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get you to set up your phone in your garage, and I'm going to stand in my studio and I'm going to coach you through what to do. And then we're going to work with you like that. And you'd be like, what? It's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be in your studio and do that, or I'm not going to do it at all. But I've got clients just around the corner, where we're doing that. I've got clients that now join group sessions from interstate around the world and everything. So it's really, really cool. Um, I also wanted to ask you, so with success again, what do you do in terms of a daily routine to set yourself up for success each day?
one of the things that I've been taught was, of course, mindset and mind feeding is very important.
Mm.
So what do you put in your mind is very important, and as you know, exercising is very important as well.
Yep.
Now, most of us understand that, hey, if you exercise, you're healthy physically, and we don't. Lots of people don't understand that if we keep on mind feeding ourselves well, then our minds become more expanded and more flexible when it comes to seeing opportunity and being able to connect and network better with other people, because you can build relationships better when you know more stuff. kind of thing, right? And again, if we could start our days positively by feeding our minds with positive stuff, then we would approach the world more positively.
So
So
what do
one
you
of the
do?
first
What, like
so
specifically,
one
what
of
do
the very first things that I did was I changed my alarm. I changed my phone alarm. It's no longer the annoying ring or the buzz or something like that. I picked one of my favorite songs, and it was one of those very inspirational songs that I've always enjoyed. It's a 1980s cartoon song. I don't know. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with Transformers?
No, not really. Is it the
There's
theme
a
music from that or something?
there's a cartoon movie of Transformers, and the main song in that was "The Touch" by I believe it's Stan Bush. And the first two lines of that song is "I got the touch, I got the power."
Yeah.
So that's what I wake up to every single morning. So when I go and talk about this scenario, I go, just imagine who here loves because not a lot of people know that song. So I ask people who here loves Superman, and they go, I do, and I'm like, imagine this: if your ringtone was the theme song for Superman, and
That's
you
my
wake up
ringtone.
every single morning, man, you're gonna feel awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So I wake up to that, and then I go for a run. And as I go for a run, I am mind feeding with either podcasts or business talk or whatever it is that I want to learn or expand my mind with. And then after that, I start doing calls or doing Zoom meetings, plan out my strategies for the day and all that kind of stuff, and just move on.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, that's how I start off the day.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great stuff. Hey, tell me, COVID, where you are in Canada, what's it like? Like, are you locked down? Are you back?
As of right now, Alberta, the province that I'm in, we're locked down. We're locked down. Like our everything's closed. Restaurants are closed. Gyms are closed and whatnot. Barbershops and salons are closed. You can
How
still.
long has it been like that for?
They just announced it last week, just because our numbers went back up, so they closed it down again. So we're on stricter. You can't meet family. You can't have family gatherings or anything like that. So it is what it is.
Is this your first lockdown or second one? Or
This is the first one of this severity.
right?
So before, like, there was a lockdown but they didn't stop people from meeting each other, like, family wise.
Okay. How
But
many cases have you got?
Honestly, I don't follow it too much.
Yeah,
It's one of
right.
those things where it's all that negative talk, and I try not to be too involved with that talk. So I kind of zone out when they talk about it.
So we were shut down.
Whether that's right or wrong, that's up to you, other people to decide. But I try to zone out.
We were shut down for 7.5 months.
Oh wow.
In our second lockdown, we were locked down, open for 2.5 weeks, then shut down again. So in total for 7.5 months. Nowhere else in Australia was, just our state, which I guess you'd call a province.
Province, yeah.
And yeah, horrific. Everything was closed. Couldn't see people. So my studio had to be shut for 7.5 months. So of course I had to, work out another way to work with people. It's had a massive impact on people's mental health and their physical health as well. But we have 0 cases. And we've been open now, I think, for 42 days. They've just opened our international borders again. And we've got, I think it's 5 cases, but they're all in hotel quarantine. They're all people that come into the country. So hopefully we can stay that way. But yeah, it's hopefully this vaccine knocks it on the head, hey?
Yeah. I think for us, we hit a high of like low thousands per day. So that's why they started the lockdown again, because we hit the 4-digit mark, and then they wanted to lock it down again. So,
well, believe it or not, we were locked down for months when we had double digit, like 10, 12 cases. Yeah, crazy. Hey, this has been fantastic, Fong. I want to finish off with I've got some rapid fire quick questions for you, just to have a bit of fun. So here we go. So who inspires you? Maybe someone that inspires you.
I'm a big fan of Walt Disney.
Yes. Yeah. Love it. Your greatest strength?
helping people succeed.
Beautiful. Favorite movie?
Ooh.
It's got to be a Disney one, I suppose.
Well, no, my favorite movie is actually a Chinese movie, so and you wouldn't know that one.
Well, that's all right. Put it out there.
But English wise, I'm a big fan of what was that part movie? I'm a big fan of the Mighty Ducks because I'm a hockey fan and a Disney fan, so I like that movie.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What do you do to relax and unwind, de-stress?
Well, before COVID, I used to play ball hockey and ice hockey.
Okay.
But now I enjoy watching certain TV shows that either are educational or just pure entertainment.
Okay. The book you're currently reading?
I am reading two of them, Basenomics and also the one by Bob Iger.
Okay, nice. The podcast you're currently listening to? Well, not like right now, but what podcast are you listening to?
I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
And then also Kevin Smith's podcast. So
okay,
he's more in the entertainment realm.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed your last guest on your show was a musician, so that now makes sense with your history as well. Biggest adrenaline rush you've ever had, and what were you doing?
I think it was, well, actually finishing that marathon.
Okay, nice, crossing the line with Mickey Mouse.
Crossing the finish line and going, wow, that was a long run. So that felt great.
Sweet. Favorite holiday destination?
Disney World.
Yeah.
I'll share you. I'll tell you how much we like Disney.
Yeah.
So as you know, JT has a lot of events, and luckily, every time he has mega, it's either in LA or in Florida.
Yeah.
So for the past 10 years, we have not gone to Disneyland or Disney World.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we've done the full marathon in Disney World. We ran the half marathon in Disney Paris. We've gone to like Hong Kong Disney. We actually got married in Disney World.
Oh, wow.
We're planning on spending our 10th anniversary on the Disney cruise. So that's how big of a Disney fan we are.
Yeah, nice. Well, I went to LA for the first time in 2018, and I'd never been there, so I thought I've got to go. So we went, and amazing, the most amazing place I've ever been to. So Anaheim, and I went back to like in 2019. I went again, and my plan was this Christmas, the kids and I were going to be in Disneyland at Anaheim celebrating Christmas Day there, but of course we can't fly out of the country. So hopefully next year, it might be 2022, but yeah, it's an amazing place, so I get it, I really do.
I'd say if you have a chance, and if the Disney Institute comes to Australia, sign up for that course, because they go through how they teach their cast members and how they run their businesses and all that kind of stuff. And then also, if you've already gone to Disney World like once or twice already, then you could sign up for their behind the scenes tour. Yeah. And you can see how they run their whole thing, the underground ducks and all that kind of stuff. It's a great tour.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure you've done it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. A couple more questions. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Super speed.
Super speed?
I want to get things done.
Favorite meal?
I'm a big fan of duck. So.
Duck. Oh, the Mighty Ducks. Gee. Now, last question. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would that be?
Younger.
Younger? Oh, you look young now.
No, I would change my timeline.
Just timeline. Okay.
Move it back another 5 years.
But what? Keep the knowledge the same, but keep the push your years.
Keep everything else the same, but just extra 5 years.
Yeah. Nice work. Fantastic stuff, Fong. Before we go, do you want to promote your couple of books? Have you got them there, or tell us what the titles are, how people can get them?
I actually don't have them here, but it's a whole series called Make More Work Less.
What was that?
Make More Work Less.
Make more, work less.
So
Okay.
there's currently 5 of them right now, and there's by February I'll have 7 in total. So
Okay.
it ranges from make more work less with branding, make more work less with cash flow, with communication. So I have a little bit of everything, and then we're actually going to be launching our kids book soon, just
Okay.
because. One day I'm a recent new father, and we were reading some
Congratulations.
kids books, and both my wife and I sat there and goes, these are easy to read. I wonder how long it would take for us to write one. So 20 minutes later, we wrote a story, and
Yeah.
then now we got illustrations done. So that's going to come out soon. So yeah, Make More Work Less. You can find that on my website, which is fongchua.com, or just go to Amazon.
Fantastic. Hey, thank you so much for today. I know it's been a stretch because you've had a long day. So I truly appreciate spending the time with you. Really insightful. We'll have to connect again at some point. You take care, and I will see you soon.
Will do. Thank you very much, and pleasure being on your show. I see your episodes come out fast, and many of them. So you're doing an awesome job, and I caught a few of them, and I thoroughly enjoyed your interviews. So everybody else, keep tuning in to Rob's show. It's a lot of fun, and all the best to you, and thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Fong. All righty. Fantastic.